Golden Threads, welcome. I was sitting in meditation and I noticed before I began my meditation that I was seated with my right leg curled in a sort of semi-cross-legged position. So my right leg was as though I was going to cross legs, and then my left leg was positioned forward. And I was immediately reminded of the position that Green Tara is pictured as sitting in. And she's shown with her left leg, as I've just described it, and her right leg forward and off. She sits on a lotus flower, but her left leg is forward. So she's in seated meditation pose, as I was, with her left leg forward, and that's so she can come to the aid of whoever needs her. She can move swiftly to aid others. So she's ready at any moment to come to your help, to come to help you. And that came to me immediately as I sat in that position, and I was aware that that was going to be important to the message I was going to receive. And then the next thing that happened was I felt a chilling touch on my left elbow. And then when I researched that, and this may resonate for you with your own belief system. So and I heard a ringing in my right ear. And I was given the message to not be steered in the direction or the wrong direction by gossip. So that's a very clear message that's coming through. Be guided to move in the right direction, and be warned against listening to gossip that will take you in a wrong direction. And that wrong direction will lead you away from your destined path. So that message came through quite strongly. There was another message that came through about cutting cords and the importance of undergoing this ritual, particularly if there's a relationship in your life that had caused, or maybe even your perception of that person is tainted by an emotion that you're holding on to, like a negative emotion that you're holding on to. Maybe they did something or said something or didn't do something or didn't say something that you're holding on to. It's this holding on energy, and it's impacting you in a negative way. It's keeping you stuck. And so the cord cutting ritual that I personally do is I will sit in meditation. I will I will draw to my mind an image of the person or people for whom this is particularly strong. And then in the background, I will envisage all others who have crossed my path or come into my consciousness or subconsciousness, that there's an energy that it's like a cord between us. So I imagine these people and the cord from my navel, multiple cords to any number of different people. And then I will imagine these cords being drawn into a single cord of energy at my navel. So it starts as a single cord for about 2 hands width in front of my navel, and then from that point it opens out and fans out into multiple cords to various different people. I will imagine Archangel Michael with his sword of truth and light cutting through that large connected cord. And as he does so, I will say that these cords be cut, and in cutting, it causes no harm to myself and no harm to anyone else. And that it frees us to have a relationship of light. And then once the cord has been cut, Archangel Michael retrieves his sword, and I place my hands, palm to the back of my hand, and then on my navel where I had envisaged that cord coming from. And I imagine my auric field absorbing the cord back into my core. And then I give thanks, and that's the energetic cord cutting ritual that I do. And its intention is purely to remove the negative thought pattern, really, that has been binding me to a particular version of that person, which isn't fair to either me or them, because whatever it was that was said or unsaid, etc., that's the past. There's no need to be holding on to it. It doesn't do us any service to do so. And the other thing that came through with that is the idea of reframing people. Sometimes we can frame people as lessons that we've been sent to learn from. See if you can reframe them into teachers, so that they are not the lesson itself, they are the teacher. And a teacher at any various time can teach you multiple different lessons. And sometimes the lesson is one of growth, and they can feel a bit painful. Other times they are lessons of joy and of gratitude. And so a single teacher can have multiple facets, is what I'm saying. Whereas if they are a lesson, then that holds them in one energy. Does that make sense? I hope it does. The other thing that has come through this morning is, and it came through as Archangel Metatron and his divine geometry, and trusting that no obstacle will stand before you when the time is right. And I had this vision of a racing car, but it was in neutral. And then all around there were these other vehicles rushing past, almost like in a movie, you know, where there's a single person, or they use it in music videos a lot. These particulars may be synchronicities for you. So you might be really into film, you might be really into music videos, you might be a musician, you might be a filmmaker, photographer, these sorts of things. But to get back to the message, the vehicle is standing still, everything else is moving at great speed. It's almost like time lapse going on in the background in the stationary vehicle in neutral. Neutral is really important, I'm told, too, because you're not sitting in negative energy, you're not in waiting energy, you're not in hopeful positive energy, you are just neutral, you're just paused. Or it feels like you're paused, I'm told, and in fact you're not paused. So what appears to the mind, what appears to the conscious mind, what appears to the eye is not true of what's happening energetically. So you seem to be paused, you seem to be in neutral. Well, you are in neutral, but you don't seem to be moving. You're in hanged man, you're seeing things from a different perspective. And then when the timing, the divine timing is right, you will become aware that you are actually moving at a far greater speed. So you're moving, I'm told, so fast that your brain or your eyes, your perception cannot see that movement. You're moving super fast. So it's not that you're standing still at all, it's that you're moving so fast that it's imperceptible, I'm told. Imperceptibly moving is very important. And So you're being pressed to ask yourself, am I really not moving? Have I been speeding up so fast and growing so imperceptibly fast that I haven't noticed the obstacles have disappeared? And I'm told this is particularly so for something that you really wanted. It was a wish, and it was some kind, I just saw birds are a huge sign for me. And there it goes again. There's something that you initially felt that it was your destined path, you were pressed to do it, and you tried and it was rejected. There was a rejection, there was a failure. You read it as a failure, but it wasn't a failure. And the obstacle that stood in the path of that coming to fruition, the obstacle has moved, but you haven't noticed. So I'm guided to tell you to readdress that, to revisit that. Try again. You will be successful. And the sacred geometry that is in place under the guidance of Metatron, everything, every part of that sacred geometry has been moved imperceptibly for you to move forward now. I hope all this made sense to you, and this, I have been told, will reach the audience that it's supposed to reach when it's supposed to reach you. So whenever you see this, it's not a reading, it's a guidance, but whenever you see this, you are meant to see it and take from it the guidance and blessings.